Hey everyone, welcome to Otaku Talk. It's me, your boy, your host OD, and today we'll be reviewing and analyzing chapter 1125 of One Piece. I'm super excited to get into this chapter. Oda heard my pleas and he answered, and he decided that he was going to answer a lot of the questions that I had about Egghead, some of the things that were left unresolved for me and that I really wanted him to address. He finally got around to them this chapter, so I'm hyped to talk about it. If this is your first time on my channel or you've been here before but haven't done so already, would greatly appreciate it if you could like, share, and subscribe. Would mean the absolute world to me. Anyway, without much further ado, let's get into this review. All right, chapter 1125 of One Piece. What constitutes death? Very good question. Anyway, we start off this chapter with a cover story, so you know I gotta talk about it. Yamato is still on her Holy Inari Shrine pilgrimage, and this time around, we're missing the carpenter, what's his name? Hinamoto? I forget his name. But the one with the nails in his nose all the time, he's missing. And so I'm really wondering, first and foremost, what's going on recently in Wano, because I feel like a cover story ago or two cover stories ago we had some girls that were attempted to be kidnapped. So I'm wondering if these two incidents are correlated in any way, shape, or form, and if they are, what kind of bad actors are still in Wano that would want to to do shit like this? Are there remnants of the Kurazumi clan going, something happening? Because right now these shrines are being built in honor of the fallen samurai and stuff that died during the Fire Festival, I believe, and maybe some of the older ones, I forget. But so I'm just who's still around that would be trying to fuck shit up? So who knows? Anyway, into the chapter we go. So chapter 1125, what constitutes death, right? So we have the Marines. It's pretty much just the vice admirals, the ones that were able to recover the fastest or didn't go down during the Joy Boy hockey blast, and they're pretty much loading up the Seraphim, and I was really sad about that because that's not a weapon that the world government needs, but it looks like they're going home with those. And I kind of like how they're load up the Seraphim, but as for the Sea Beasts and the Mark threes, and then it trails off. That's really interesting because it's are they just going to destroy and dismantle them? What are they going to do? Because one, I don't know if the Sea Beasts were ever given authority to the government in the first place. I feel like that was purely Vegapunk shit. So I don't think the world government is going to be able to use that unless they can get York to maybe mess with their programming. And then even then, I think there was an understanding about the fact that they're kind of temperamental. Maybe York would bring that up to them. And then there's the Mark threes, which are completely useless in my opinion, because you can't have this weapon and this massive force that can be in a heartbeat turned and used against you as long as Joribani is alive, is sort of like a fucking not a dead man switch, but I don't know. There's some kind of trope name for not Chekhov's gun. There's some trope name for what she essentially is in terms of just being able to Uno reverse the world government if they were to use the Mark threes. So I think it's kind of cool that they might have to, mothball the Pacifista and not be able to use them in the war or just in the world in general anymore, as their commands could be overridden and used against them. Next, we see Lucci and Kaku, and the CP agents ask them, hey, where's Stussy? To which Lucci says she was killed in action. Now, I have a lot of questions about this. Is this what Lucci assumes? Did Kaku tell Lucci that Stussy died? Did Kaku actually tell Lucci what really happened? And Lucci is kind of in a Kizaru situation where he's been allies with Stussy for such a long time. He feels a type of way, but he's loyal, and he said, you know what, F it, we're going to make an exception right now, whatever, Stussy. If this isn't what you want to do, fine, be gone, be free. But I kind of don't know if, Lucci has that kind of personality. But we don't know much about Lucci, just like we didn't know much about Kizaru. Lucci does seem a lot more, cold-hearted and cold-blooded, and he was able to awaken his fruit because he relates more with the predatory nature of the leopard that is his elf fruit. So who the hell knows? So I'm very, very curious about this. Then we get to one of my favorite parts of the chapter, just because of the sheer irony of it, and it's Saturn, and it's kind of hilarious to me. It's almost comical because he's kind of talking to himself in a way where it sounds like he's coping. It feels like he is just like snorting pure copium, and he was like, we got York, we got Punk Records, we have the power station in hand, which gives us access to the Mother Flame. The results would have been more these were great results, except we just had one small little hiccup, and it's kind of that we were exposed to the world as these tyrant dictators that control these weapons, which, to be fair, that's not really what happened. Vegapunk was actually very, very tame in going in on the world government, and I'm a little bit annoyed about that. But yeah, it kind of feels like he's like, but we did do a lot of good. we got a lot of stuff out of this. He said we won the trade essentially. I play League, so we won the trade. But I don't think we'll see later that Emu doesn't quite feel that way about it, and I just think it's ironic because this is the same way that he's treated others. He's about to be treated. And it literally happens right here in this exact freaking chapter, right? So the vice admirals were all we're super sorry. I can't believe this happened, that, we were all there and we allowed this to happen, yada, 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 blah, 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 right? And so one of them, Doberman, comes up to him and he's like, sir, I don't mean to overstep, but the sheer fact that we're worried about this, that we're upset about this, does this give credence to what's happening? Are these rumors true? And this man doesn't even bat an eye. He immediately murks him with whatever this ability is, which at this point I'm just gonna call dark hockey, because I think with the whole Joy Boy hockey feat that we saw and the whole mention of there was no hostility in it, I think it's kind of going to be a good side of the force and dark side of the force kind of thing with hockey. Originally when the series came out, there were Morganeers and Peace Mains, and I think the kind of hockey that Luffy and the good people use are Peace Main hockey, where it's just gonna knock you out, there's no malicious intent, it's not gonna hurt, try to hurt you. But the dark side, the Morganeer hockey, this shit will straight up murk and kill you. This is people are passing out, no, people are going to actually die. And I just love how at the end of the chapter it comes so full circle, because we'll get there, I shouldn't rush. But anyway, Saturn had a flashback before this where he originally is talking to the scientists that he is giving, what's it called, MF2, the Iron Giant 2. And he's like, yeah, you can keep it as though, don't let anyone know about it. I give you permission. I'll deal with the consequences. Because to him, he's figuring, this could be a great asset to us. This could be a great weapon, right? But I think this is one of those situations where keeping things in the dark, keeping things secret is going to bite Emu in the ass, has bitten the world government in the ass. I don't think Emu relayed to Saturn that, this is a former crewmate of Joy Boy. You need to fucking, dead this now. Get rid of it now. And I just don't think Emu shared that information with him. Otherwise, I think he wouldn't have gone behind Emu's back and kept it. Because obviously, it was out of loyalty. He didn't have any untoward thoughts. He just purely was like, oh, Emu's gonna fuck with me so hard because I'm going to revamp this weapon, and the damage it did to us, it'll do to our enemies, and it's going to be fire. And that is not what happened. It also makes me wonder if 200 years ago, if there was another awakened Nika Nika user, because during the chapter, and I don't know, I can't remember exactly, but it sounded like they were saying the Nika fruit hadn't been awakened in centuries. And at the time, I thought they meant since Joy Boy. So, since the Void Century, like 800, 900 years ago type shit, right? And I was thinking, there was a correlation with Kuma and the Iron Giant, where they had that rampage in Mary Joie, and I was thinking the entire time, Kuma is trying to get to Egghead, right? And then especially after we found out Bonnie's there and this whole thing, he's trying to return to Bonnie. But what if once Luffy turned Gear 5, he was trying to reunite with Nika? Maybe when whoever awakened it 200 years ago Emeth was trying to reunite with Nika. The red line was in the way because of how tall it is. And, while they're there, hey, this is like where our enemies live. Let's fuck it up a bit. And like they fucked it up. And then like, someone like a Kainu shows up, whatever turned off the Iron Giant before, or maybe the Awakening died out before. And actually, no. There would be news of Anika, but I am more curious about the events with Emeth. But with Kuma, if it was Nika that activated him, that red light was just in the way, and then when Akainu damaged him, he decided, okay, I've done what I can do here. Let me go reunite with, not reunite, but let me go figure out what's going on with Nika. What's this energy? What's this power source? And that's also another interesting thing that like. It just seems to be remotely able to power things on. Like most things, you need to be plugged up, powered, charged up. But no, like with like key wireless charging, it is able to empower these like automata. So that's really, really interesting to me. Anyway, moving on, we go to the Vegapunk Cloud Factory, and it is working overtime. And York has no clue what's going on, but she's like, it's probably like Edison is probably behind this. And, well, actually, she doesn't realize it at first. I don't know what her idea is here, but she pulls out this gun and shoots at it, right? And it activates Edison's plan, which detaches the punk records from the Labrio phase or whatever, and has it float up on this roaming cloud in the sky so that the world government won't get it. And I was so hyped for my boy. I was like, let's go, Edison. Edison, the thinker, flair, just, flares of creativity and thought. Like, this makes perfect sense for that character, and I'm very happy it happened. I'm also very happy that Edison survived. So it does look like more Vegapunks are getting out of this than we thought, even though, quote unquote, they're all are alive, and we're going to talk about that as well, right? And so we do find out later that Edison actually intended for the entire Labrio phase to come up, but we're just going to take this victory because I really would have been pissed off if the world government was able to get their hands on the entirety of like punk records. This would have been screwed. Like they would have had the internet, they would have had so petabytes of knowledge potentially at the palm of their hands, and just done so many dangerous, disgusting things with that knowledge. And I'm so glad that they are not going to be able to, and I'm so hyped for it. Because like I said in numerous chapters, I was like, what's going to happen to Punk Records? What's going to happen to Punk Records? What's going to happen to Punk Records? This is like a major deal. This is a major deal that's not being discussed, that's not being brought up. Like, this is really bad for us. So I was really happy that it finally was relevant, and that like Oda was like, okay, I understand that, like, yes, this is bad. This is what's happening. Because I was like, there has to be. I trusted Oda, but I was like, you got, please, bro, because like if you just let this happen without anything happening, I'm gonna be so sad. Because faith is good, but faith without like reward or anything like without payoff is just like you're an idiot. So thank you, Oda. I always had faith in you, and thank you for rewarding me for that faith, as you always do, right? So speaking of idiots, we just like we're gonna see in this chapter a lot of really stupid moments from people, and just like Saturn and had like did idiotic things himself, and how he is later going to be treated like the people he is treating. We have the Celestial Dragons, and they are simply freaking out. They are hungry. They haven't had proper meals in a while. They're probably still eating way better than anyone else in the world, but to them, they're so greedy and selfish and so used to like indulgence, like it's torturous to them. And they are so dumb, they can't even grasp the idea that like there's a blockade going on, there's a food shortage going on, like this is no one's fault, and this is kind of not no one's fault, but like this is kind of like stuff is going on, and like they're gonna have to fucking sit tight. It is not registering. Like I love how we kind of start off with the fact of them calling Vegapunk a dimwit. It's kind of like Dunning-Kruger, where you're so stupid, you don't know you're stupid. You're calling the world's greatest authority and just like knowledge, period, a dimwit, while you are acting like actual morons. The irony is simply astounding. And so like this dude literally shoots his chef, and like they're going crazy, and they want people to like they're demanding like someone take responsibility, and it's like you're literally making the issues worse, because now you're killing staff. So like even if you do get food, you're not going to be able to have it cooked, or like now you're just like, what about now, who's going to make you food? Because you're not going to be able to take one from someone else, and like a bunch of like slaves were freed before. Like you're going to run out of your stock, and like the way you guys just shoot people on command, you're going to run out of slaves. You're just simply going to, and like you guys are going to be in a worse situation. You guys are literally going to put yourself in a worse situation than like you currently are due to like just being ignorant. And I'm here for it. So anyway, we have my boy Garling strolling into the authority room. And at first I was like, yo, what is going on? And I'm thinking like, yo, one of two things is happening. Either he's gonna be like a Gorosei now, or like or that the celestial knights are gonna like take over or like or be implemented or do something or have been given some kind of like power upgrade where they now rival the authority of the I don't know. I was like, what's going on? But he strolls in, and you can just see like how mad the Gorosei are. Like, who the hell do you think you are? Like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Type shit. And he's like, times have changed. The Vegapunk known as York will henceforth be under my purview as the new defense science warrior god. The moment they said that, I was like, oh shit, oh shit. I was like, wait a minute, is Saturn dead? Saturn's not dead, is he? I was like, oh shit, he's not dead, but he's about to be. I was like, he's about to be. So, before I get into that, I just want to say, it's not a big deal. It's just something funny. And by the way, I fix my glasses a lot because the arms are broken. So, if they look crooked and I look dumb, I'm so sorry. I'm trying a new thing. I want to see how they look. But my eyes have been going to hell, so I've had to pull out the old glasses, even though I hate wearing them. Anyway, so one thing I hate in anime, and it's completely unavoidable, but whenever like there's a group and the group has like a scheme, right? Like a niche or something like that. When new members get added to that group and they don't fit the scheme or the niche. So like, you know, maybe you have a group and everyone has animal names, right? And then people die in that group and then like new characters that you know get added to the group, but they don't have animal names. That annoys me. I'm trying to think of an example. Like I'll give you like Kaido, for example, like most of his upper class people have like number like card game names or like Jack King Queen code names. Like when the new generation came in and they didn't embrace like nicknames like that, I was kind of blown. So I don't have one off the top of my head, but yeah, just basically like the fact that like the rest of them have names that have like Venus, Juro, Venus, and Saturn and Jupiter and stuff like that, like named after planets, and then you have Garling, and I'm just like, ugh, that's kind of whack. But like, it's okay. Maybe it is some kind of planet I've never heard of, but like not in our not in our solar system, but it's not one of the major ones, so it doesn't work as well. So I just had to mention that. Okay, I had to mention that. Also, I'm wondering now that like he has been promoted to Gorosei, who's going to be in charge of the God's Knights, and I'm thinking obviously it's going to be Shank's twin. I think everyone's kind of settled on the fact that it's going to be some relative of Shank's, and we so that figure we saw that silhouette we saw, that I'm putting my money that that's who's going to fill Garling's current empty seat. All right, everyone, editing Otaku Talk here. First and foremost, editing this video with the way my glasses are has been torturous. I'm never doing that again until the arms are fixed. I look like a clown. If you guys made it this far, thank you for supporting me. I love you. I appreciate you. Yeah, we're not doing that again. I kind of wish I paid more attention to that. Anyway, I just want to spitfire some things that I forgot to put in this review, not necessarily in any order. But first and foremost, can we talk about the fact that Katarina Devon and Blackbeard basically stole Saturn's likeness for no reason? Now, I still think it's going to be useful. I'm wondering if it's just going to be like an oversight type of deal where they ended up taking the face and, you know, there's no Vegapunk anymore. I mean, there is York, but I feel like they're just not going to remove the authority access from Saturn or say that he's dead or any, like no one's seen it. So one, Blackbeard and Devon aren't going to know that Saturn is dead necessarily, right? So there's that. Also, I just don't think that they're going to update the protocols to like remove Saturn from things. But I think it would be like hilarious if there was a moment where he just rolled up to Mary Draw or something with Devon as Saturn trying to access stuff. I wonder if there would be a moment where like the Goros are like, wait, Saturn's dead. Who the hell are you? But it might not even be the Goros they run into. It could just be other lackeys that know of Saturn and aren't aware he's dead and just give them full reign. So I'm very curious to see how Devin taking Saturn's image comes into play much later. Um, I'm speaking of Saturn. I'm wondering how Garling is going to get if Garling is going to get demonic powers, just like the other Gorosei. It stands to reason he will. It makes perfect sense that he will. I'm wondering it's going to be like the antithesis to Joy Boy, where Joy Boy was able to give to maybe if Joy Boy was the creator of Devil Fruits and was able to give people their dreams. What if Emu is able to give people their nightmares, and that is the creatures that she or they have created in the Gorosei, and that they can go in and pull out your your desire, not your desires, but like your nightmares, your worst nightmares, like like the evil version of you, right? Um, like I was saying with the dark and evil, uh hockey and stuff. Same with the whatever concept creates the devil fruits, right? So we've seen how devil fruit abilities have abilities that it technically should not. That technically should be out of its purview as a devil fruit. But as long as it's tangentially related, all right? As long as some way somehow it kind of relates to that devil fruit, you can do the thing, right? And we've seen examples of devil fruits with like soul and life taking abilities, like Big Mom's soul Hocus Pocus and Soul Fruit, right? So what we're seeing with Saturn when he was instantly killing people, and now with Emu as he kills Saturn, I think it's kind of interesting that we have kind of an example of that in Big Mom. So like that ability isn't really that out there. And the last thing I want to talk about is the fact that I like how Oda right now is definitely in his sci-fi bag. What's going on with Punk Records right now reminds me a lot of this series I was watching. It's an Apple TV series called The Foundation by Isaac, based off of book series by Isaac Asimov, a very popular sci-fi writer. And basically in that series, this super genius who's so smart he essentially becomes like a prophet sage type character, basically predicts that all of humanity is going to have like a dark age extinction event type deal is going to fall, right? And because of this, they're not going to be able to recover for I want to say thousands of years, maybe centuries, right? And in order to kind of jumpstart, the rise of humanity again, he creates this basically punk records thing called the Foundation, which is all the information and knowledge that humanity has ever acquired. And this is like a very like futuristic world. And so basically it's going to exist, and then when humanity is in the centuries from now in the future, when humanity is rebuilding, they're going to be able to access this foundation, this punk records, and rebuild upon itself. And I think it's very very interesting how those two plots correlate. Now I don't or co sorry co-align. Now I don't think Oda's stealing. I do think Oda takes lots and lots of inspiration from lots of things, and I am pretty positive that he has to be familiar with Isaac Asimov's work. One Piece is an odyssey, and I do love the fact that Oda seems to love to take stories from American fairy tales, European fairy tales, Japanese myth and lore, standard myth and lore, and now we're seeing a little bit Isaac Asimov, and I think that's kind of fire. Oh, and finally, that it makes perfect sense that Edison is contacting the weather wizards on Wetheria because either they helped him develop that cloud technology or he helped them develop that cloud technology, which they base their entire civilization around. So I wouldn't be surprised if Edison is contacting them right now to basically say, hey, I need you guys to work overtime on pumping out as many cloud islands as you can. We need to have a place for all of civilization to evacuate to, worst case scenario. At least until like whatever war at the end happens, where everyone needs to be can be safe temporarily and before they can return to the shore. So anyway, right on cue, we see Saturn on his knees, grasping at his throat. We see all this black stuff happening, and he is getting murked. He is dying. The soul force is being like taken from him. He's begging Imusama, like, Imusama, I'm sorry. And he's like, no, like Joy Boy was behind this. You didn't destroy that You didn't destroy that Iron Giant. Saturn's like, I couldn't have anticipated that power would find us. This isn't on me. Have mercy. But no, you don't have mercy on people. You see people as ants. Emu is going to see you as an ant also. It's the circle. And so all we are left with is Saturn's skeleton. And that has to be the trippiest thing ever for the vice admirals to see. So anyway, we return back to Edison, but it's actually all of the Vegapunks talking. It is all of them talking to each other via punk records, and Eureka has assembled himself a body, a Frankenstein body of sorts, using just basically body parts of each of all of the other Vegapunks. And I think it's kind of adorable. I think it's kind of cute. I do think that he probably could have put himself back together normally, but in this type of way, it's a way to pay homage to the rest of the fallen, quote unquote, satellites that went down, and live on with them, if you will. Why he couldn't use the parts to make them individual bodies, I don't know. Maybe not all the parts necessary were there, just parts here, part there, yada yada yada. But that's another thing that I was glad that they brought up, because before I was like, Vegapunk should be able to live. Like, they have tons of all the satellites should have tons of spare parts. For the human Vegapunk, there should be organs and stuff. So who knows? But the actual Vegapunk is dead, but he remains survived through his satellites, and I'm very curious to see how they exist. I also found, like, when I was doing a little bit of research before I did this chapter review, that there's been a lot of rumors about, there being a seventh satellite, right? That they said that there were 6 satellites on this island. Maybe there was a 7th. So, maybe that's a plot twist for later. I think it's a little bit convoluted. I don't think we really need a 7th one, but if one does show up, that would be cool. But, like, this is more than enough. Basically, we have all the Vegapunks surviving in this way. As he's walking through the spare parts locker, he contacts Witheria, and I'm wondering what he wants to do with them. Maybe he's going to head there. Maybe he's going to have their scientists meet us here. Maybe he's going to talk to them about a plan to get Sky Clouds up and going for the rest of civilization to evacuate. I can't wait to see what the Vegapunks are going to do. We go to Kamabaka Queendom, where we have the Revolutionary Army hiding out at the moment. And at first they're all talking and panicking about the sea level rising. I was cracking my ass off because somebody was like, no water's going to kill me. I can swim. But that whole thing was really, really interesting. They're talking about how whoever claims the One Piece will become the Pirate King, and they'll be wielders of the devastating power that the Gorosei themselves and Emu desire, and that there's no way that they can let that happen. So I think that's really interesting, because it technically makes the Revolutionary Army enemies with Luffy as well. So I find that to be really, really interesting. Sabo basically is late to the party and saying everything that all One Piece readers have been saying forever, which is that no wonder the Gorosei and the Celestials and whatnot are located at the top of the Red Line, because it's the highest point in the world. So during a flood, of course, they would be safe. And we find out some new information this chapter, because we have Ivankov talk about not only Tequila Wolf, but also Vodka Wolf, Rum Wolf, and Bourbon Wolf. So they're all named after liquors. I wonder if that's going to play into, like, the sake, the sake, like the whole thing with sake and drinking and becoming brothers. Even though, why would the Marines do that? But actually, it makes sense, because, when you drink sake or drink alcohol together, it unites you, and these bridges are made to unite. So, but I wonder why the government would name it something like that. But don't forget, these bridges have been under construction for 700 years now. So I think it was just a plan for, Emu, the Gorosei, what have you, always had a plan at work to flood the planet in some way, shape, or form, and they were just trying to get these places, these bridges situated so maybe that they could still be able to get resources, right? Because once again, I'm not sure if things actually grow on the Red Line, and if they're going to need actual vegetation, earth, and stuff to grow things. And that might be a lot of why Ryugu has the whatever the wood, plant, forest, fruit, or whatever, and is able to create life because maybe thanks to him, like he's their ultimate like nourishment plan to be able to provide foods for them. So anyway, the chapter ends with dragons stepping out and going, Vegapunk, there are many that will heed your words and take it as an invitation to take action. And so there's going to be a lot of people that are like, fuck, we need to plant, there's going to be people rushing for bunkers and people rushing for rockets out of here. Essentially, like in a global catastrophe situation, panic would ensue and people would be scrambling for any means of survival. One Piece is no different. That's what's going to happen in One Piece. People are going to try to survive. Some people are just going to give up and be defeated. Some people are just going to break out into all anarchy and lawlessness because why does it matter? We're all going to die. We're all going to get flooded. Some people are going to want to enjoy the remaining rest of their lives and they're going to try to carve out a piece of land or somewhere safe or some kind of haven for themselves. So things are about to go crazy. We're about to see the world of One Piece probably descend into pure lawlessness, and it's just going to be compounded by all the events happening, right? Because we have the bounty on the Marines, we have the bounty on the pirates, and so it's just shit is going to go crazy, and I cannot wait to see what happens. Like I said, phenomenal chapter, great shit, Oda. Thank you so much. I cannot fucking wait to see where this is going. Meet you guys at Elbaf. Peace.